everyone, welcome back to the Sad Alcoholic Kitchen. It's been a while, but I'm back. Back with a new drink. We're going with gin this time. It's pretty good. Today, we're going to be making steak, which a lot of people have been requesting in my life. A lot of coworkers really like steak. So we're going with a steak. We're going with we got a cowboy ribeye here from Walmart. Not the best, I guess, but still pretty good. I just took this out of the fridge, took it out of the packaging. We're gonna season it with, you guessed it, the Ramen Sinful seasoning here. Season it well. Both sides. I'm not like a crazy religious about steak the way some people are, so I'm not going to do the sides. And we're going to let this kind of come up to room temperature while it's absorbing all the seasonings and all that for about 10 minutes probably, just to get it nice and going. And in the meantime, because we're going for a reverse sear, we're going to preheat the oven to 250, and then we'll come back when all that's ready. Alright, it's been about enough time. Our steak has really started to get all these seasonings absorbed into it. We're nice and preheated. We'll throw this in the oven for, judging on thickness, probably about 35-40 minutes before we take it out, and we're gonna really cook it up after that. It's been about 35-40 minutes. Steak is looking pretty good in the oven. We're gonna take it out. Oh, it's looking really ugly, but we're gonna sear it up and make it look really tasty. Alright, so I guess I didn't have any salted butter, so what we're gonna do is take some unsalted butter and mix in some MSG, and that'll be pretty tasty. Alright, our steak is done. We got some little extra prep. We got our little MSG butter here going, and a bunch of garlic cloves, because I love garlic. I just smash them up with a knife so we can cook them. A lot of people use like rosemary or thyme on their steak. I don't really like the flavor of those things, so I don't do that. I'm gonna turn our oven up to fairly high, not super high. You want it to sear, but I found that turning up too high will make the garlic just burn and turn into a crisp, and I'm trying to find a way around that. Still kind of a work in progress. So this is going to come up to heat. Once it gets nice and hot, we're going to pour a little bit of this garlic oil, olive oil in there, start to fry it up, pour the butter in, we'll lay the garlic on top and on the sides. We'll get that all nice and cooked up. Alright, pan is nice and hot. We'll add a little bit of oil, not too much, just kind of enough to coat the underside of the steak here. Get it nice and shimmering. I'll grab the end of the steak and I'll lay it in. I don't want to press it down where you can so it gets nice and evenly coated. We'll add a bunch of the garlic cloves all over the place. Most on the sides in the oil, but I like to put a little bit on top. And then we'll slowly kind of add in the butter. This is something nice to kind of... We'll be basting it, obviously. It's going to be kind of hard with one hand showing the process here. We'll do what we can, though. All nice melt down there. We can use a spoon to kind of add it on, or Put a little garlic on the top there, butter rather on the top here. Keep it nice and moisturized, so to speak. Get all of this nice, delicious butter out here. Apologize for the noise level. It's been a while. Still working on it. So we'll let this sit for a few minutes on each side. Get a really nice crust going on here. Nice and crispy. And when it's obviously on both sides, and when it's done, we'll take it out and do something a little bit extra to it. We just made our flip here. We got a really nice crust going on there. The butter's browning up pretty nicely. The garlic's getting a little cooked up there, nice and brown. And we'll put that on the top of it as it's resting. If you want just a little extra secret ingredient, you'll see what it is when we get there. It's kind of hard to show it, but we're gonna continue like basting the butter over the top of the steak. I can't do it now with one hand, but it's just kind of keep that steak nice and really nice and juicy there. Alright, our steak is done on the other side. It's got a really nice crust going on it. We got the oven off. We're going to grab some of this garlic. It's a little crispy, that's fine. It's just adding the flavor. We're going to put it on the top of our steak here while it rests. It's kind of the final level of cooking here. Oh yeah, it'll just add in all that extra flavor. Obviously take the pan off the heat so nothing else burns. And now we're gonna come down to our special secret ingredient. Not sure how much it actually does, but we got some Wagyu beef tallow that, you know, when I make steaks now, I kind of like to add a little bit of extra while it rests. Just kind of extra flavor, you know, a little more hydration for it. Keep it nice and juicy. Not a whole lot, just enough kind of cover here and there. Obviously it's gonna melt and get all over everything. It's just a little something extra I like to add on. So we're gonna let this sit for like a good 5-10 minutes. We'll come back and we're gonna carve it up and see how juicy it is. Alright, it's been a little bit. Steak is nice and rested, still pretty warm. We're gonna carve this up. You know, I'm quickly realizing my setup is not very conducive for a very good video. All these pauses and everything. I'm gonna work on getting some like equipment, and holy cow, steak is juicy, so juicy it's falling off the edge of the cutting board into the sink. Let's get this carved up and see how it looks. Alright, our steak is all cut up. I'm still kind of learning how to cook a steak personally. So I think this is pretty good. We got some sections that are kind of well done. We got some sections that are a little more rare. Coming from someone who used to only eat steaks well done and eat them with ketchup, I think I've come a long way. And I can really enjoy steak for what it really is. With our first piece, I think I'm gonna go for something a little more rare with a little a good amount of fat on it. We'll dip it in the extra juices that are just leaking out of it, all that extra flavor. We'll go for a taste. Oh my god, that's really good. It's a really good steak. The crust, all the flavor, the garlic, it really, adds it to something that's really amazing. I usually make this with my classic spicy dudes, but this time I thought I'd just go for the steak. Maybe another time we'll go for the steak and spicy nudes. That'll be a whole different experience. See you in the next one.